Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And boy, we got to talk about this debacle that has taken place at the University of Michigan and their football team and head coach. And this is a complete learning tool on how a gentleman fumbled the bag and how his life changed in less than 24 hours this week. We're talking about 39-year-old University of Michigan head football coach Sherrone Moore, 39 years old, married with 3 children. And if you haven't been following the national news, he got fired for an inappropriate relationship with a young female staff member. But he's not the first coach. Let's go back into here recently some of the coaches that have gotten in trouble. Starting with, if you remember, the Joe Paterno and Sandusky issue that took place at Penn State University years ago in their football program, with Sandusky allegedly having inappropriate relationships with young boys, even bringing them to Penn State University's campus. He got indicted and Sandusky got convicted. It tarnished Joe Paterno's legacy as one of the greatest college football coaches ever. What about the Michigan State University? The state of Michigan is having some real issues with their coaches. If you remember, Michigan State University coach Mel Tucker was fired in 2023 for misconduct with a guest speaker, an abuse survivor. Her name was Brenda Tracy. Here again, and some of the commonalities with Mel Tucker at Michigan State and Sherrone Moore, both black coaches, and the alleged victims, white females. Does that matter? To a certain degree, race play is always a part of the controversy that goes on in America. And it's unfortunate. The optics on it do not look very good. So Mel Tucker, black head coach, he had a $100 million contract and he fumbled that bag. You got to remember Boston Celtics. This is in the NBA, where Coach M.A. Udoka was fired in 2022 season, 2023 season because of an improper relationship with a married staffer. She was married. And of course, you know, Coach M.A. Udoka at the time was engaged to a black female actress and had a child with her. And then you have, of course, Rick Pitino, who got fired back in 2017 from the University of Louisville as their basketball coach. And there were a plethora of inappropriate allegations paying high school players, recruits coming to the University of Louisville on their visits, and had arranged relationships with paid prostitutes. Even Coach Rick Pitino allegedly had a liaison in a restaurant bathroom with a female grown woman while he was married. So there were a number of things, paying players. There was all kind of inappropriate behavior going on at the University of Louisville under Rick Pitino. Of course, he landed on his feet. He's at St. John's University right now and doing well, and he was able to recover. Also, M.A. Udoka, who was the head coach of the Boston Celtics at the time, he was able to recover, and now he's the head coach of the Houston Rockets. In all of these cases, when people sign these contracts and get these jobs, whether it's in corporate America or a head coach of an NBA team or NFL team or college football, basketball program, they all of their contracts have a morality clause, which is called moral turpitude. And this is what these guys have violated their employment contracts, and thus the university was allowed to fire them. But this is a situation with the University of Michigan football coach, Sherrone Moore, where he has fumbled the bag horribly. Not only did he get fired, but he also got arrested. So let's get into what has taken place. And we got to see what is going on in the minds of some of these coaches. You got to remember that these coaches have more power and probably more fame than the players at these universities. Sherrone Moore was making $6.1 million. He had a $30 million contract. As I told you, Mel Tucker, who was at Michigan State a couple of years ago, he had a 5-year, $100 million contract. So if there are young women who are going after powerful men, and you see this scenario all the time, why go after these players who are 18 to 22 years old? They may have an NIL contract, but you have a coach here that you definitely know his salary is public, and he can advance you within his staff as far as giving you a job, making things better for you. Some of these young ladies are going after the coaches and not so much the players. As we know, the coaches have the bag. You take Drinkwitz at the University of Missouri, he's making like $8 to $10 million a year. Coach Drinkwitz, the Mizzou football coach, just take him for example. He's making almost $10 million a year. So you have to keep your circle tight. We're seeing that a lot of these coaches nowadays in college basketball and football are getting younger and younger and younger, even NFL coaches. So you're drawing this line that's very inconspicuous in a sense that if you got these coaches in their 30s that are surrounded by young ladies between 18 and 24 or 18 to 30 based on if they were students at the college or young staffers, you can have you can create a certain level of chaos and disruption with these young male coaches making tens of millions of dollars, and then you have these young staffers or students who are just trying to navigate their way through life. It can become a little bit of a hairy situation if that coach is not well planted on this earth and leading his life in a positive way. So let's get into the story. University of Michigan head football coach Sherrone Moore was detained by police on Wednesday, court records show. The same day the school announced he was fired for allegedly having an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. A suspect was taken into custody around 4:10 p.m. local time on Wednesday after officers were called to a home in Pittsfield Township, Michigan, to investigate an alleged assault, according to the statement from the Pittsfield Township Police Department. While police did not disclose the name of the man they detained in the assault investigation, the Washtenaw County Jail online records showed that Coach Moore, 39 years old, was being held there as of 11 a.m. local time on Thursday, pending charges. ESPN reported Moore is a suspect in the assault investigation and is expected to appear in court for arraignment on Friday, which is today. The matter involving Coach Moore remains under active investigation by law enforcement, and as a result, they have not decided to give him charges until today. This story is significant because Sherrone Moore was the first African-American head coach in the history of the storied University of Michigan football program. And he was detained just hours before he was fired as the Wolverine head football coach. And here's where the moral turpitude clause comes into play. The university said on Wednesday that Moore was terminated after an internal investigation that found credible evidence that the coach was in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. This conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and the University of Michigan maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Now, you got to remember, this gentleman started out, he was under Harbaugh's tutelage a couple of years ago when the University of Michigan won the national championship. Sherrone Moore was the offensive coordinator. Then Harbaugh goes to the NFL. They promote Sherrone Moore to the head coach position. As I said, they gave him a $30 million contract. He was married with 3 children. And some of these allegations are just crazy. And as a result of today, he's been charged with stalking and home invasions. And there are allegations when he broke into the young lady's home that he said he was going to kill her and himself. And that's what landed him in jail. Also, when you look at the pictures online, Coach Moore was 39, and this young white female looks like she is in her early to mid 20s. So you're talking about race play, older black guy, young white female. Allegedly that she was started out making like $45,000. He doubled her salary to almost $90,000. And there also have been allegations that he impregnated her, and after that, he forced her to have an abortion. There is a lot going on in this case. And what is the deleterious effect of it? He may never get a coaching job ever again, definitely not in college under this scenario. And race will play a factor in this. Big brute black football coach, small innocent white female. I hate to say it, but that will have an effect on Mr. Moore getting caught in this web of chaos and disruption. Also, this will have a deleterious effect on other black coaches, assistant coaches trying to get head coaching jobs at major universities. As you all know, and just part of being a human being, people have a tendency to stereotype. And there will be a lot of college administrators who will decide that they may not want to go that way with another black coach based on what happened with Mel Tucker at Michigan State a couple years ago, let alone what happened to Coach Sherrone Moore here this week. This is a very tough situation. This is an embarrassment to him, to the University of Michigan, to his family, married with 3 children. This has made national news. There's always been a history on our universities where professors have had alleged inappropriate relationships with students, underling staff members. That has always been an underbelly and a rumor of gossip for years. But now, due to social media, and the push of a button to get news as fast as possible, surveillance cameras everywhere. You got to remember, universities are like their own city. And remember, the unseen will become seen and the unbelievable will become believable. This is a sad story. Unfortunate for the University of Michigan. They're going to lose scholarships and football players wanting to go there. They're going to go to other schools because of all of this mess. And now Coach Moore is in jail facing criminal charges that are very serious. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience.